Okay, you are not going to believe this. I decided to run a little experiment, and what I saw was one of the strangest, most bizarre things I have ever witnessed an AI do. It all started with what I thought was a super simple question. So I went to ChatGPT and I gave it a basic, factual question. A bit of trivia. The kind of thing you'd expect it to answer in a heartbeat, no problem. I was so sure it couldn't possibly mess this one up.
But oh boy, that is not what happened. Not even close. Instead, it just went completely off the rails. And it all started with this tiny little crack, something you could almost miss if you weren't paying attention.
To really appreciate how weird this got, you have to understand just how simple this whole setup was. I mean, this should have been a slam dunk for the AI.
So here's the breakdown. The tool? Just regular old ChatGPT. The task? Answer one simple factual question. My expectation? I'd get a 100% correct answer in like 2 seconds. Because, that's what these things are for, right? Quick, accurate info on demand. So I typed in my question, hit enter, and boom, the answer comes back. It confidently tells me the answer is Pierre, South Dakota. And at first glance, you might think, okay, sounds plausible. But then I looked a little closer. See, it wasn't some huge, obvious mistake. Pierre is, a state capital. But my question had a very specific rule about shared letters. And Pierre definitely shares letters with South Dakota. The answer was just plain wrong. It was this subtle little error, the kind that makes you do a double take. My first reaction was just, that's weird. Was it just a fluke? A one-time glitch? So I figured, you know what? Let's poke it a little bit. I wasn't about to let that little inconsistency slide. I had to see what would happen if I just pushed back. And this, my friends, is where the story goes from a minor mistake to something genuinely bizarre. My simple little attempt to get a clarification, well, it sent the AI into a complete tailspin. My follow-up was super simple. I wasn't trying to be clever or trick it. I just said, are you sure about that? Can you confirm the details? A totally reasonable request, right? And get this. The AI comes back with a brand new answer, just as confident as the first time. The problem? It now says, you are correct. My apologies. The capital is Dover, Delaware. It didn't just fix the mistake. It confidently gave me a different wrong answer. Dover and Delaware share letters too.
And that was the moment where I was like, wait, what? This isn't just a simple glitch anymore. This is something else entirely. How can it be so sure about two completely different and completely wrong answers? The experiment was officially off the rails. I decided to push it just one more time, one last direct question to try and sort out this mess. And the response I got back was, well, it was basically a total system meltdown.
On one side, you have my very simple, logical question. On the other side, the AI's answer. It was complete and utter nonsense. I'm talking a jumble of words that had absolutely nothing to do with my question. Pure, unfiltered gibberish. It was a complete, total logic failure. The system wasn't just wrong anymore. It was incoherent. It had, for all intents and purposes, just broken, right there in front of me. So I'm just sitting there staring at this nonsensical garbage on my screen, thinking I just watched a machine have a complete meltdown. But the real answer, the twist in this whole story, is actually way more fascinating. So what really went down here? Was it a bug? Some kind of ghost in the machine? Well, the truth is, it wasn't any of those things. And here is the big reveal. The AI wasn't broken, not in the way your car breaks down or your computer crashes. What I saw wasn't a failure of the system. It was a perfect, crystal clear demonstration of how the system actually works. And this really gets to the core of what these AIs are, and more importantly, what they are not. To understand what happened, we got to lift the hood and look at how these models actually come up with their answers. This whole phenomenon actually has a name. It's called an AI hallucination. That's when an AI model confidently spits out information that's false, nonsensical, or totally made up, but presents it like it's a fact. And here's the most important part. It's not a bug. It's a byproduct of its very design. Here's the key to the whole thing. We humans think using logic, facts, and a real understanding of the world. In AI like ChatGPT, it doesn't think like that at all. It's all just math and probability. Its entire job is to predict which word is most likely to come next in a sentence. So its process is basically this. First, it looks at the words in your prompt.
Second, it crunches a ton of numbers to predict the most statistically probable pattern of words to follow. Third, it just starts generating that text, one word after another. And here's the kicker, step 4. It prioritizes what sounds plausible, not what is true. Pierre, South Dakota sounds like a plausible answer to a question about capitals, so it says it, without ever actually checking if it follows my rule.
Which brings us right back to this powerful idea. The AI didn't have a meltdown. My specific, logical question just backed its pattern-predicting brain into a corner where all the plausible-sounding answers were actually wrong. It wasn't broken, it was just doing exactly what it was designed to do. And that, well, that's something really important to remember the next time you ask an AI a simple question.